Can tell you that the storm is weaker, winds down to 80 miles per hour, and actually this should be updated, and let's see if we like what we see. I have to tell you, just glancing quickly, this is a good thing. This is a very good thing. There you go. All right, this is great. All of Broward County is now officially out of the cone of concern. You know, when we were on the air earlier, we had the northeast corner of Broward County that was still in the cone of concern, which we call worst case scenario, right? That far western track. We said wait till 11 and let's see if it's going to hold, come back to the west a little bit, which would have really got us on guard, right? Or if it shifts to the east. It has shifted to the east. Basically, the National Hurricane is saying there is now no chance that the center of the storm can make landfall over South Florida. But I need to tell you, it is still a powerful hurricane. It still has the potential to bring tropical storm force winds to our area throughout the day, especially late afternoon and into the evening. Also, we're not going to get into the dirty side of the storm, that widespread steady rain. But we get these feeder bands that come in, and I think this would officially be our fourth one that's just offshore. Fort Lauderdale to Miami to Homestead. This is some pretty heavy rain. You get some gusty winds. As we get through the day, these bands will stop coming in from the ocean and we'll start to get the air shifting from more of a westerly direction. That will dry us out. That is good news. So this is pretty interesting as well. We still have a hurricane watch in effect for the coast of Broward County. I suspect over the next few hours, if that storm continues to track east and not west, we'll see this come down because now the likelihood of hurricane conditions has really dropped. But I think this is much more important. Tropical storm warnings are in effect for all of Broward County, much of Miami-Dade County. Basically, the Turnpike extension is right there. There's US 1 to the east. That's where we have the potential for tropical storm force winds. So wind gusts right now up to 20 miles per hour, Fort Lauderdale. Sustained winds of 15, Miami. Notice the wind direction. You see a lot of E's and N's, okay? That wind is coming in like this. Later today, you're going to see a lot of W's. It's going to be more of a westerly wind because on the backside of that storm, because we never get into the dirty side of the storm, that water is going to get pushed out. Now, this is just updated. I have not had a chance to look at it, so we can look at it together. That yellow is where we have tropical storm force winds. The orange, 57 plus, destructive, and the red, that's your core of hurricane force winds. And let's see how close we get. So this is a little bit better for Miami than it was with our 5 a.m. track. 7 p.m., if you're in Broward County, you're seeing the tropical storm force winds, especially along and east of the Turnpike, along and east of 95. But notice that yellow does not get into Miami, and that's because the track is a little bit farther to the east than it was. Let's advance this to 1 a.m. and see what happens. So there you go. As late as 1 a.m., we're still seeing those tropical storm force winds in Broward County, and by 6, 7, 8 a.m. tomorrow, all of the winds, tropical storm force winds, are out, and that's really the center of the storm right there. So it looks like the National Hurricane Center is going to stick to the forecast that worst case scenario would be a landfall around West Palm, but more likely the storm is going to hug the coast, stay just offshore, and we talked about it earlier. This is great news for everyone watching from basically Fort Lauderdale Airport, 595, all the way up to Jacksonville. As long as this storm stays offshore, yes, tropical storm winds are possible, but all areas in Florida stay on the cleaner side of the storm, and landfall doesn't happen until, you know, Savannah, Georgia, or Charleston, South Carolina. So again, even tomorrow at 12 p.m., that storm is just offshore. And where does the National Hurricane Center take the storm? Well, there's your Category 1 hurricane. There's Savannah, Charleston. It's a tropical storm right across the Carolinas, and still next Wednesday up near Boston as a tropical storm. So there are several days of life left. So Keith, the big headline: we are now completely out of the cone of concern. There is no part of South Florida that will see landfall. Dirty side stays completely out of the area, but still tropical storm force winds, especially Broward County later this afternoon into the evening.